Hello, I'm the X-Toycat, and welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. This is a Let's Play where we're playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft on the console, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in today's episode, I'm going to be getting back to a bit more of that destruction stuff, because I had a giant destruction project which I was working on, and then kind of had to take a break for the, the Let's Play that's just over there. Like, you can probably see it from somewhere in this episode, but yeah, I had to take a break from it in that episode, and that is destroying this desert. So, the reason I'm destroying this desert more now is, one, because I want to get back to it, because again, it's such a cool thing to look at, in my opinion. Like, it's a mess right now off a cool thing, but it's still, like, interesting, at least in my opinion. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I want to do this. But the second is that I figure, you know what, I need a bunch of sand and sandstone anyway to work on my cactus farm. So yeah, the cactus farm is something you might not have heard of or seen if you didn't watch the, because I did a live stream on it, but the live stream's kind of disappeared. Like, again, it's like an invisible live stream where some people can see it and some people can't. I don't understand how that is the case, but yeah, I worked on it last Thursday for a live stream. You might have seen it, you might not have, and yeah, people seem to love the idea, because I love the idea enough by myself anyway. Like, it's one of those things that realistically, sometimes people say that they want some support something, but they don't necessarily need it, because again, I wanted to work on this regardless, but the number of people who are just like, oh, that is really cool to look at, yeah, go do some more of that, maybe go, yeah, that is awesome, and yeah, very supportive people on that live stream. If you saw it, that was pretty cool, and just in case you're curious as to exactly what's going on there, then yeah, that's where all the sand is going, because as a base rundown, in case you haven't seen any of it, and you're like, Toycat, what is a cactus farm? How does it work? I'm so confused. Then all you need to know is that basically cacti are all growing, and as soon as they grow up one more block, they immediately have the cactus like pushed off them by the cobblestone. It flies down into the water most of the time. The water flows down into here, and then the water goes into the hopper, which goes into this chest right here. So yeah, relatively simple to understand, I think. And yeah, we're just doing this on a massive scale. And yeah, I guess the immediate reaction, because again, most people are supportive and like, yeah, that's awesome. And I like supportive people. I think that should go without saying. But whether it's in real life or it's on a live stream, I like people who are supportive. I like people who are, in general, I like people that, are nice. Like, you shouldn't have to say you like nice people, but I mean, it's true that nice people are the best people, right? And, yeah, that's just something I wanted to get out of the way first of all, because again, I thought it was crazy just how many people loved the idea as much as I did. Because again, it's a weird one, right? Being like, oh yeah, so guess what? We're going to collect all the cacti in the world. And people are just like, yep, good idea. It's like, and again, for the most part. But yeah, a lot of people's immediate reaction, again, I don't want to say this is unsupported, but like, a lot of people say then, oh, so, why do you need that much cacti, Toycat? You've already got a chest and I guess that's like 3/4 of a chest full. You got 3/4 of a double chest full of cacti already. Why do you need more? Even though it's being produced at this rate. And the answer to that is mostly, I don't need more, but it's a fun little project idea. And yeah, I guess another response to that would be like, well, you might think that this is pointless, but aren't a lot of things people do pointless? Like that sounds like a nihilistic thought, but I swear it's not. But like, when you think about, okay, something as simple as like a New Year's resolution, almost everyone makes a New Year's resolution, and very few people keep them. Like, I mean, personally, I tried to keep mine as a goal this year, and I've achieved some of them, I think, with regards to traveling. I'll make a whole update video on the second channel about that. But yeah, I made New Year's resolutions this year, just to be like, let's give it a try. But most people aren't thinking like, oh yeah, and then in a year we'll come back and look at these. They're just like, if I just think of this goal now, maybe it will magically happen. And that's kind of pointless, you could say. When people eat too much pizza, not too many pizza. Well, I mean, if you eat 2 pizzas, which is too many, I'd say. Because how so many places always do buy one, get one free deals, and if no one around you want pizza, then you got 2 pizzas, and you swear you'll eat one, for breakfast, but then you eat the whole second one anyway. That's a thing that happens, right? And then you're like, oh, I'm so full, I'm never going to order pizza again, but then you do. Or if, hopefully not as many of you have reactions to this, unless you are obviously the place where you meant to, but some people are like, oh yeah, I drank too much last night, I'm never going to drink ever again. But, that it's a thing you say that doesn't necessarily have any truth. So, isn't that pointless? And I would say, kind of. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, though. Or, I mean, I would say probably it does mean you shouldn't do it. But yeah, just because some things are pointless, it doesn't mean people don't do them, and therefore perhaps shouldn't do them. And maybe that's, like, insightful, or maybe you're just like, but this is different, like, Cat. You're putting a lot of effort into collecting the cacti. But then I would say, well, it's kind of got a point, because, well, honestly, I'm doing it mostly in a pointless way. But this can be turned into something with a point, because first of all, if I want to get cacti green for wool, and I want to build something giant, I'm going to be prepared for that. Again, doubt that's going to happen, but if it does happen, I'm the guy to cool. But the second kind of cool thing about it is it will work as an XP farm if I can get a renewable form of, I guess, coal or something. Sorry, a renewable form of furnace fuel, because coal actually isn't renewable. I think charcoal is, so maybe I'll like brew up a whole 10 stacks of that. But yeah, if I can just find myself a renewable furnace fuel, then I can get so much XP, because even though a cacti green is only worth it's worth like a quarter of an XP point, so like you need 40 of it to get a single kill worth XP, or 20 I think that'd be. It's worth a very small amount, but if you have a whole chest full like this, then you smelt all of those up, and suddenly you're getting yourself like levels like that, and I'd like myself to have a source of lots and lots of levels. Maybe it's going to be a bad XP farm, maybe it won't be, but I think it'd be an interesting one, so yeah, it's got like a point in there eventually, perhaps, in case you want to point to everything, but mostly it's just like I want to build this insane, like for the sugarcane farm, and again, lots of people have been supportive, and I'm always mind blown by that, because I'm like, you know what, this was an insane idea to me, but apparently people are down with it, and I guess that's kind of nice. Anyway, look, today I am back in the UK, you might notice, because it's echo free. Honestly, I didn't realise it was echoing so much last week, like I guess I got used to the echo, or something like that. Again, I can't tell you for sure, but there was an echo on the last Let's Play, that should be gone now, because I've gone from Canada, and I'm back to the UK, so woo, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, best country. I mean, I like Canada a lot too, I'll be honest. A lot of people seem to like how much I like Canada, which was amusing to me. But yeah, there's basically I'm back in the country now, and I'm actually going to be like taking a break, I guess, from travel, because even though you know, it's been a really cool like hobby of mine, but one of the things I've been very adamant about, and is the fact that basically I try as hard as I can not to, especially in real life, not so much on YouTube, because I guess people know about it here, but I try not to be like, oh, the person with the travel stories, because generally speaking, it's one of those ones that's just unrelatable to most people. So it's one of those things I did anyway, which is, again, I guess I want to be able to do that to a whole nother extent. I don't want it to define, I don't want something that I don't talk about to define me, because then you're just gonna, then you just don't talk about anything, and where's the fun in that? So also we're collecting a whole bunch of sand here, as you can tell. But yeah, so that's one of the reasons. But the other one is just that, like, I had such a long experience. It's like, yeah, let's take a small break. Maybe I'll come back to it more refreshed, or maybe I'll never leave the country again. I'm not sure for sure, but that's something I'm doing right now. And the part of the reason that, like, it was after I made the decision, but like it cemented it a bit, was just the process of flying back home. So in brief, what it was is I had to get, so like because it's super cold in Canada, I had to get to the airport like as soon as my apartment, like I guess I had to check out, because again, I was in an apartment, that's why the whole thing was like that. So that was something like also was that I saw something weird there, but so there was like a 5-hour wait at the airport before my flight, and then there was a 7-hour like flight itself. It actually, I think it was 8 hours in the end. I don't know how that ends up being that way, but yeah, it was a longer flight because it got a little bit delayed and something wins. Again, if you ever look up the way flights work, because they're actually they're shorter one side than they are the other. Like it takes longer to fly to America than it does to fly back, I think, or maybe it's the other way around. There's like a bunch of just weird, bizarre things that affect it. Like it takes longer or shorter depending on the day and the winds. It's not even the winds, I don't think, but it's just there's lots of weird things that affect it, and it can't be summarized very easily. But yeah, there's weird things that affect it, and it was just a super long flight. And then after that, I had to actually go up. I'm going to say up north, but I mean like relative north to me, and I had to break up with a girlfriend, which I mean, when you say it like that, it's like, oh, that's an interesting thing. And for the most part, I wanted to not really talk too much about like the personals, especially when it comes to girlfriends on YouTube, because it's a really the story behind that is because one, it's like it seems kind of like unprofessional, but two, my first like I guess YouTube girlfriend, like since I started YouTube maybe, or was actually but the first one that was known to YouTube, she's like on a bunch of streams, there's like videos of it, and I can't remove those because as a YouTuber that doesn't actually make sense, especially because there's like a Let's Play episode where I'm like, oh yeah, and I'm dating X, and I actually, as you know, let's not mention this. So I haven't mentioned it anywhere on the Let's Plays, but a lot of people picked it up from live streams and stuff anyway, so I figured I should mention that here, and yeah, it was one of those things where I think like, because I think personally that like again it's weird to talk about something again so personal that like my brain's like shouldn't talk about this internet, but like I think it is always going to be a particularly hard when it's like a whole mutual kind of thing, and it was, and like again that just made my Monday extra bad. It was just like, oh, I've had 24 hours of travel. Again, like from Canada to the airport, over the sky, up to the north, back down after like hours. And it's just like I can't do that for a bit, especially because there's so many like things that just take so much more time than anyone ever thinks. Like, you know, when people think of a 7-hour flight or an 8-hour flight, you're not realizing that you have to get to the airport 2 hours early. Like, if you don't, then there's a decent chance you'll lose all your money in your flight. So you have to get there a minimum of 2 hours early. People don't account for the fact that getting through the border is a mess. Like, it's on the US side, it took me, I think, 2.5 hours the one time. On the UK side, it's taken like an hour and a half the one time. Like, sometimes it can be... I speed run for everything. Like, I've learned how to get through that stuff efficiently now, but like there's just all these things that add up, and it's like I need to dedicate some more time to one, just, I don't know, pick up a again, I want to pick up just a fun hobby. I haven't picked which one yet. Like, I know most people don't think like I want a hobby, but I kind of do. So I'm gonna pick a hobby, maybe at random. Maybe I'll like put them all in the hat, and I'll be like, oh, I guess I'm doing extreme ironing today. But yeah, that's what I want to do, and I think it's probably gonna be a bit better for the whole like, I don't know, not traveling alone quite so much thing. I don't know. There's some things that need to be worked out, and that's what I'll do. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be in the UK a whole bunch. So if you're like, Toy Cat, where are you at now? Because a lot of people just assume like I'm always somewhere that's not my own country. Which, I mean, I guess you're not amazingly far from the truth. I think I traveled something like 9 days in November. So yeah, 7 days in November, but 9 days in the past 30 days or something, which is a lot. But if you're wondering, by the way, why I did that so much, honestly, it just kind of stemmed from the fact that I was mind-blown how cheap it was, and I had more... Because as a YouTuber, my days off, in big air quotes, you know, where I'm not needing to do work, in more air quotes, you know, they can be different to most people. So Tuesday and Thursday flights are so insanely cheap. Like, again, literally start at like £3, £5 a Ryanair, depending on where you're flying. Like, yeah, France is free, Copenhagen's £5. Fun fact, by the way, London to Copenhagen, it's only £5, and you can get those flights pretty much any time of year if you travel, any time of day, if you travel just on like a Tuesday or Thursday. So, yeah, amazingly cheap flights just made me go, why don't I just go somewhere if it's that cheap? And, yeah, that kind of just developed into like, why don't I go to all the places I'd like to go? Like, now I've been to Sweden, Norway and stuff. But, again, like I said, it's kind of a weird thing that's semi-hard to truly relate to. So that's the reason behind that. Now you know a bit more about Toy Cat. Isn't that fun, guys? Again, the reason that I wanted to by the way, because I think I got like halfway through and then got distracted. But the reason I shared the whole relationship thing is because I figure I think I'd like to keep it somewhat hidden from YouTube because it's not really strictly relevant, really, is it? I mean, at least not as far as I can tell. So that but I figure like when it's something that's like, yeah, I think I'll take a little bit of time just to, I guess, make sure everything's at 100%. It makes sense to be like, yep, there's the truth about why I'm not going to be streaming on Mob Crush quite so much this month. And also because, get a bit kicked. I was looking for a bit of cactus. Someone just flows down as I talk about that. So, because I noticed like a random stump that had no cactus there, and it really bugged me. Yeah, I figure I should at least... Because, you know, honestly, like, in most places and most jobs, and even most things on the internet, you shouldn't share your personal life. But on YouTube, at least, it's what I've ended up doing, and I guess that's a relatively big part of it, right? So there you go. There's your knowledge about Toy Cat. It's all okay. Don't worry. I've had a lot of people send nice messages, and again, I appreciate it. I like nice people. I think that should go back. I wish there was a filter in the world where it could just be like, you know what? People who are on average more nice, I'd just only like to see them. Oh, look, and now that's all I see. Kind of like how online you can, you know, block people based on this or that, or like make sure you only see people based on this or that. It'd be nice if it's like, you know what, I think because I don't know if I even consider myself a nice person, you know, like I'd be like, oh, how many people would block me? But maybe you want a nice person that wants not as I don't know what I'm saying here. The word nice is so vague in general that I'm not even really saying anything. Like I could be saying, I'm basically saying literally nothing. So I guess we should avoid doing that for a second as we grab some sandstone and I guess some sand. And work on another layer of the cactus farm. Or, I guess on an existing layer. I think the next thing I need to do is mostly just placing down cactus, which is pretty easy, because, again, I've got a lot of that stuff, so let's just go into the chest. Let's just grab a stack, or like a semi-stack, and let's do this, shall we? So, yeah, if you want to see the actual process of the cacti farm, then here we go. It's relatively easy. There's, like, 3 or 4 steps, I mean, you can say as many steps as you want because you can combine steps, but there's like 4 separate distinct steps, I guess. There's like placing down the cobblestone layer, which is what everything else is based on, so I'll show you up here, in fact. So there's placing down this cobblestone layer, which is what's going to break the previous layer, and also what we're basing the next layer's start off. Then we place all the sandstone, As you can see, I've just placed an entire stack here. The reason I do it just all at once is because you need to place it with a gap in between. And as far as I know, without using torches, there's no easier way to do this. So yeah, I just place a bunch of sandstone like this. And then, once you've done that, you can break it. So usually I like to have a better pickaxe that isn't efficiency 5. Because with efficiency 5, this happens where you can double break instantly. But apparently not right there, so that's handy. And also, I'm fine with it going down there, because it'll probably end up in the chest, and I can get it later. So, yeah, as you can see, go through, break every other block, make sure it lines up properly, and that's how we do that. So, once we place the sandstone down, so let's just do a couple more layers to show that, yep, this is how we do it every time. Because, by the way, this is going to get shrink as it gets taller, to make like a pyramid shape, I think, anyway. I haven't probably decided, but I can start with the pyramid and work from there. Maybe I'll go for the hourglass in the end. But yeah, but once that's been placed, then you've got these individual little blocks. So let's just remove a few more of these just so you can more clearly see it. Yeah, once these blocks are, oh geez. Once the blocks are clearly placed and they haven't fallen down, you need to place sand on top of them. So the sand is so that, because cacti are one of the few blocks in the game which are like block specific in terms of what you can place them on, and they can only be placed on sand, unlike sugar can be placed on a bunch of things. There's a lot of blocks that can be placed on a bunch of things, but as it turns out, cacti is not one of them. So you gotta place sand on there first, and you make these weird like miniature towers where it's like sandstone, sand, cacti, and it's that means that like really the same formula from the sugarcane farm where it's like 3 layers tall kind of applies here too. So yeah, once you've done that, then you go ahead, you throw yourself some cacti on there, and boom. This then is, like I said, broken by the next layer, and then you end up with more and more cacti going down into there. So let's go down into this area actually, and just place a bunch of these. And this should mean that even in this episode right here, because we've gone from, I think it's, so if it's 30, I think, yeah, it's 50, it's 225 cacti a layer. If I do a whole layer of this, which let's say we do that now, then suddenly we've added like another 200 cacti to it. It's a little bit less because it's 13 by 13. I guess that'd be 169. Oh yeah, look at me doing maths on the fly. Fun fact, by the way, I only had to learn when you do I don't know why they like. There's a lot of arbitrary things, like I mentioned earlier, that like one you either get taught or that one just two exist. And one of those things is the fact that in school they generally only make you care about your multiplication tables or times tables or whatever up until like 12 by 12. I don't know why 12 is the magic number. Where like, yep, you need to know 12 by 11 and 12 by 12, but 12 by 13, you don't need to remember that one at all. You can use a calculator for that one. But again, it's one of those random things. But if you do, I forget what in the UK, I think it's just called further maths. But if you do certain branches of maths, they want you to know all the way up to like 20. And again, it seems arbitrary to stop at 20. Like, yep, 21 by 21, let's just give up. But actually, can I do that in my head right now? I think that'd be, 444, maybe? Maybe I did that wrong. Oh, wait, check it right now. Let's see. Wait, I can check it right now. Can Soy Cat multiply 21 by 21 on the fly? 441. Well, I'd have potentially killed someone's... I guess you don't kill someone with further maths, but maybe I'll design that, rocket wrong or something. Not that I'm designing rockets, but you get the point I'm making. But, yeah, I get very on tangent from tangents. But yeah, for further maths, they make you learn up to 20 by 20. For some bizarre reason, it never actually came up. I think my teacher was maybe just messing with me when she said it. Maybe you don't have to learn that. Maybe she just wanted me to learn, like, additional extra stuff because she hated me. Again, I can't tell you for sure. All I can tell you is that's the reasoning behind why I can do maths on the fly a little bit better because I thought I had to. And now I'm starting to doubt. Literally, this is right now me realizing that maybe I never needed that because it never came up. There was a whole bunch of stuff actually that let's just spend a few minutes talking about my maths teacher and how much I don't like her. Does that sound good? Again, it's been like 4 years since I was in this. Again, it was A-level maths. It's been like 4 years since I was in this class, maybe 5 now. But yeah, she spent like a whole lesson talking about the whole 0.99999 equals 1 argument, and also. There's a weird bit of like algebra that's like it's a way you can like kind of prove that it doesn't work because you can prove 1 equals 2 if you use like a and b variables enough. But yeah, she spent like a whole lesson on both those things and they never came up ever. So when you have a maths teacher, you should probably clarify straight. I don't need to know things that aren't relevant because if you learn that, then you get I think I got an E. No, I got an E, I think, in the end. But still, you end up with an E, which in the UK is not good, as it so turns out. So, yeah, there's a fun fact. Oh, actually, tiny update to something I mentioned earlier. I don't know when I mentioned this, but it was in Q&A Saturday. I referenced how, I like GCSE grade something G. Apparently, they've changed that, so it's a 1 to 7 now, or 1 to 8. But I just like to clarify they're the same things, it's just numbered differently. Again, I don't know why numbers are better than letters, but I like letters personally, because like, ooh, a G just sounds nice and bad, you know? Like, you can really brag about how that's a level G or whatever. But, you know, just saying, oh, I got an 8, it's like, oh, 8's a high number. Maybe you accidentally used the wrong system. And then you have to clarify, like, no, it's actually bad. Whereas, you know, the G just really gets across what you're all about in one swoop. Fell swoop, I guess it'd be. So, yeah. There you go. There's your fun fact about the UK educational system from, what did you say age, like 13 to 15? I know a lot of you were curious about that. Number one thing I get questions about, really. Like, people are like, oh, Toycat, can you stop playing Minecraft and just talk about the UK's educational system? And, yeah, that's people all the time, right? And to those people, there you go. So let's place the rest of these cacti down. Because, again, I want to see the physical impact it has. So, need a bit of sand there, too. Handy thing about placing sand is you can do it from above. Okay, what just happened there? Handy thing about placing sand is you can do it from above because it floats down. So isn't that nice? But yeah, like I was actually saying before I got sidetracked on my sidetrack. Yeah, there's a lot of things in travel where you want to be going super fast. Like, again, the UK border. So, okay, you know, this is, airlines always encourage you, like, don't rush, don't worry, it makes no difference because this, that, and that. It actually makes a whole bunch of difference if you rush. First of all, you know, getting your bag on the cabin, is it called a cabin? On the plane. If you get on there late, then your little thing's gonna be filled up, and you won't be able to be near your thing. And in the worst case scenarios, you have to check it in, which means you have to go to those bag carousels, which are the worst things in the world if you don't like waiting. By the way, because you better believe like minimum 5-minute wait, maximum like 6-hour wait to get your stuff. So yeah, you don't want that. Rushing is actually a good thing. Again, I don't want that to be public knowledge because I don't want people to rush against me. But let's just assume you guys aren't gonna be on the same flight as me. So. Pro tip, rush. And also for the border, because, again, for some people, the border is, like, literally a 5-minute interview. And for people like me, because, again, fun fact, I live in the UK, so they don't actually have to see a visa. They just say, oh, you're from here, are you? They'll look at it, they'll look at my face, they'll look at it, like, 3 more times and be like, is this the same guy? And then they let me in. Whereas some people, they're like, oh, I am, you know, there's a bunch of reasons why it'll take longer. I feel like anything I was going to suggest would probably come across wrong. Yeah, so there's your next fun fact. And, okay, don't stand on cacti, that's not good. And, yeah, so rushing is a good thing. Traveling for 24 hours is a bad thing, I think. Like a 7-hour flight, you gotta, like, really streamline both sides of it. You don't want to have, again, like, 3 hours of trains and, like, 5 hours of conversation on one side. You wanna have, like, wake up, do the thing, have some chill time, and go, you know, that's what you want to do. You don't want to have inefficiencies in there. And besides that, also, why is this necessary? I feel like this was a bit pointless. Besides that, I think that was everything I wanted to talk about this week. So yeah, I'm going to be working this farm a whole bunch on and off stream. In fact, on and off camera, I should say. I might do some Secret Survivals when I'm doing it, because I think it's kind of fun. Secret Survival, if you don't know, is like a live stream series where just like, guess what? It's only available the one time we're watching it, and that'll be that. But again, I don't think I'll be streaming as much this month for a whole bunch of reasons, and hopefully everyone understands and doesn't hate my guts. And if you hate my guts, then at least you hate them for a good reason, you know? Like, but that's something I'm kind of passionate about. Like, if you're going to like or dislike something, just have a good reason. Like, if you're like, you know what, I really don't like, I don't know, let's pick I'm trying to pick a thing that's, like, non-offensive to not like. But, you know, I really don't like, candy. Bacon. No, bacon. There we go, bacon. I was thinking candy bacon. Like, you know, the really funny bacon. They're not actually bacon strips, but people call them candy bacon. But, you know, those like, I guess they're rainbow strips. If you don't like those and you're like, oh, I really don't like them because the sugar hurts my teeth. Or you're like, oh, yeah, really don't like them because, you know, they're expensive. They're not expensive. But, you know, to you, they're expensive. 5p for a piece of candy is just too much, you know. That's like 6 cents, is that? So, yeah, if that's too much, you know, whatever the reason is, as long as it's rational. If you're like, I don't like them because I think they make you into a again trying you know, I don't know, I don't like them, they make you secretly gay, or I don't like them, they make you want to farm cactus in Minecraft, or I don't like them, they make you want to I don't know, whatever it is, then I'm gonna be like, that's you're someone I don't necessarily want to be around so much. And I think that's the key point from the end of this. If you're gonna like or dislike something, at least have a good reason. Maybe that's a life lesson. Maybe it's not, or maybe what you're really thinking here is, I don't watch toy cat videos because they make me want to farm cactus. I don't know what it is, but I hope you did all enjoy it, because I'll see you all in the next one. So, goodbye everyone.